Hello everyone. Today I'll be reviewing the Karin Futo GTX based on the Toyota Sprinter Trueno liftback produced between 1983 to 1985. It's in the sports class and you can win it for free this week and next week from June 5th all the way to June 16th. So at the time of this recording, a 2-week event is currently active. So you have about 14 or so days to try to win this car. If you log in every day and you really want it. Besides that, this car has excellent customization. Um, However, the texture quality for some bits of the car are a bit to be desired, but it's not too much of a big deal. Some assets of this car were also reused from the regular Futo, such as interior, but it's not really a big deal. I mean, it still works. It has its charm to it. You can really play around with the engine customization, which is pretty cool. As you can see, I mean, you can expose the timing belts, you can cover that. You can really do a lot with it. These strut brace options, these are reused in a few other vehicles, but it's not a big deal. Um, so if you attend car meets and stuff like that, I mean, this car is absolutely perfect. I know that a lot of people like to do an initial D style build. I've done that before with this car. It looks pretty good. You can really get very close to making a replica. Um, but on the topic of the engine model here, I don't really recall the anime really showing much of the engine. I could be wrong, but also really you have a lot to play with exhausts, so you can really just give it a lot of character if that's what you want to do. I believe this exhaust option is seen in a few other tuner vehicles, uh, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna put one of these exhausts on it to really give it more of an aftermarket type of look, but nothing too crazy. I wouldn't necessarily say tacky since it's really its own style with this car. Of course, you have your body kits here. For the headlights, you can really mess around with the angle of these pop-up lights. I believe they still work if you choose one of these, but it is just such a cool detail. I mean, you can, as I said, you can give this car a lot of character. You can kind of almost bring it to life. The hood options here are pretty nice, but for what I'm going, I don't know. Like, I was thinking of going for carbon, maybe not. I'm still like not too sure. But the rest of these hood options are just great. I feel like it just looks good stock. But if you choose a carbon hood, it still looks really nice. I love the way it looks. For the interior, you can really mess around with it. Uh, some of these options, it strips interior, it adds NOS, racing equipment, like a little metal barrier right there in the front. A lot of cool stuff. It even changes the dials and the buttons. The real life car also has a really rich racing history as well. It's iconic, not just from the anime, but in real life, it's also very well known. The seat options, these are reused in a few other vehicles, so I'll just leave the stock one. Same goes for the steering wheels. These are reused in other vehicles, but if you really like them, you can just choose whatever you want. I prefer the stock one. It also comes with it with a logo on the steering wheel. For the liveries, the first livery option, this one is available on the regular Futo. So this livery was added here as a throwback. And the delivery boy, that one there, is based on the initial D livery. And the rest, these are race inspired. as you can see. Um, and the second to the last, that one's pretty funny. I believe this livery is only available on a select vehicles, which is pretty cool. For this car, I want to do something different. I do not want to recreate the initial D style vehicle livery. What I want to do is just make something a bit more unique. I'm gonna make this red, and then for the secondary, it's gonna be a black, and then later, I'm just gonna add some body bits, as you'll see in a bit, to really just add more contrast to make it look better. But I'll get there in a bit. Uh, During recording, it was a bit difficult for me to really choose what type of red I wanted to go for. So I kind of just settled for something somewhat bright. Um, Also, I was debating on whether or not to color match it, but I feel it would be nice to give it some contrast with a black and then some red stripes going through, as you'll see in a bit. Also, for the interior, you can really change some bits of the seats and the side panels if that's what you want to do. I believe the real life version did come with a red interior, well, an optional red interior, but I believe most of them were just black. For the dials, I do not recall if they were orange or green, but I'm just gonna leave it as a white. Really have some cool options here up top, you know. That's exactly what I was talking about. The primary bump strips too. It really cleans it up a bit. It really cuts. It helps cut through the black a bit more. You even have some skirts here to give it an effect that it's even lower. If that's what you want to do. For the spoilers, I mean, you really have a lot to work with here. Some of these options are reused in a few other vehicles, and uh, some of them are the generic usual spoiler design that you'll see on older vehicles, but it's not a big deal. It just depends on your taste and your style. But I'm just gonna go with the first option because it's just tasteful. You can really get this lowered a lot if that's what you want to go for. It has a bit of a stance as well. For the wheels, I'm definitely gonna choose something in tuners. Anything else, it would be too big or too small. But tuners is just a sweet spot. I feel that the rollers look really good on this. Not many people know about this, but this type of wheel design was also offered for this car. But most people know this car for a different wheel design. I don't recall its official name, but I feel like this one just works well with a bronze. The only thing I don't like about it is that it comes with like a chrome a chrome lip. But it isn't a big deal. I can just overlook that. You can also put some tire lettering. It's unique to this car. Of course, I'm always gonna put the bulletproof tires. For this, I mean, since it's a classic, I'm not really gonna add any limo tint. I feel like it just looks good without it. And it comes with a wing there up top of the rear glass or the trunk. And for the bumpers, uh, I feel like this option should have been placed like up top instead of the bottom of the list. But anyway, that's just something else. But the bumpers themselves, I mean, they're pretty nice. You can go for a very custom look. I'm really not a big fan of the splitter, just how it sticks out too much. I would have liked that tow hook right there, but just without the big splitter. But it's not a big deal. And for the rear, it's only extensions in the bottom. You got some accessories here. These are pretty cool, but I'm not gonna add them. I feel like they're too low. After this, I'm gonna quickly show you the interior and the rest of the car up close and in its performance. And I'm just gonna finish off the review there. Texture quality is acceptable and the details great. I feel like the texture quality itself within the engine model and bits of the interior leave a lot to be desired. But since some of the assets from the regular Futo were reused in this car, um, it's not really a big deal. I guess I could kind of accept that. The interior design itself, it's pretty nice. It fits the car very well, the era. The rest of the car is just very well done into a hatchback form. I really don't have any other complaints besides that. I feel like the rest of the car just matches that iconic look of the real life car. Speed and handling are decent. However, this is a car that you buy more to just have fun, to drift. Not to say that this car isn't a great performer, but if you want something competitive, I suggest you look elsewhere, especially for the price. This is a car mainly to be used as a drift car or to be used in car meets, stuff like that. It's an excellent car. However, I feel like it could be a bit faster. Uh, it is quite small, so you can kind of expect the engine to be small too, you know. But it's still very fun the way you can toss it around the corners. It naturally wants to slide. So if you're not very experienced with slidey cars, I suggest you kind of watch out for that. Kind of like me, I just hit a bump right there and the car kind of spun out. But other than that, I mean, if you apply low grip tires or the drift tune on this car, you're in for a very fun time. I'm sure this car would be a very great option for the drifting missions. Anyway, that's all I got to say for today. I hope you guys found my review useful. And as always, thanks for watching.